Hello folks, and welcome back to the Panzer project. And what we're going to be doing today is something that we've discussed in the past few update videos that I've done relating to this build. So you may recall, if you have seen some of those previous videos, that I spoke about installing a much larger battery in the car so that we can do longer distances and ultimately drive the car to Munich. Now, having a large battery is one thing, but it's not much good if it takes 24 hours to charge it. So what we're doing today is we are going to be upgrading the 3.3 kilowatt charging that we have in the E31 up to pretty much probably just a little bit over 10 kilowatts worth of charging. Now, you may recall again from past installments that we have a Brusa NLG 513 charger installed in the car, and this charges, it limits on power, and it charges at its kind of rated 3.3 or 3.4 kilowatts, putting about 8 to 9 amps into our traction battery at 360 volts. So over the last couple months I've been lucky enough to get some more chargers, and on the bench behind me there we have two more Brusa chargers. These are NLG 514s. Now, what's the difference between a 513 and a 514? Well, a 513 works between 200 and 520 volts, I think, off the top of my head, and the 514s work between 300 and 720 volts. So these guys are designed for a much higher voltage battery. Now, that's not a problem for us. They will deliver 9 amps quite happily into our 360 volt nominal battery. The only problem that we might have is if we completely deplete the battery, we'd be down at about 280 volts, and we would need to wait for the 513 to bring that up above 300 volts before these guys will start charging for me. But that's not a big deal. So we're working at the minute on getting cabling and mountings done in the car. So let's go have a look and see how we're faring out there. Alright, so these are our two Brusa NLG 514 chargers. I suppose the most immediate thing to notice is that the bottom one is in a black case, the top one is in a red case. Apparently the red case is a newer model, it's got a build date of 12/14, and the black one is older, it's an 11/09 build date. But they're both NLG 514s. I've power tested them here on the bench, connected them to my ancient Windows XP laptop here so that we can connect that horrible ChargeStar program to send the charging profile to them. Have that done. One of the chargers came with the pre-packed cable, so I was quite lucky there. The second one came with no cables at all, so I had the rather painful task of hunting down these plug connectors to go on here for the mains, or sorry, I always get these backwards. It doesn't matter. One of them's battery and one of them's mains. This is the mains one, so this one's the mains here and this one's the battery. So I'm going to have to make up leads for the second charger. I will put a link in the description to the Farnell part numbers for these plugs, because it's kind of a pain in the butt to hunt down. One of them came with a fully assembled lead here with the serial port terminal on it, so I was able to use that to program both of them. This one here, it looks like the serial port terminal has been chopped, so I'm going to solder one back on that, so we'll have comms with both of the chargers. So in the car We had installed the 513 here inside the rear kind of terminal box area, and I had fitted a 3-phase charging port to the car and fully wired that with 10 square cable back down to the junction box. So when we go into the junction box, we'll see our mains comes in, goes to a 32 amp, or actually a 40 amp MCB, then goes into a contactor, and all 3 phases connect to the contactor. So we have one charger here connected to 1 phase at the minute. We'll be connecting the other 2 chargers to the spare phases here, and neutral. So we'll have 230 volts between phase and neutral. It does mean the neutral is going to be carrying quite a bit of current, so I'm going to have to be careful of that and make sure we're not overloading the cable. And then we connect the battery here to this fuse block here, which carries a pair of 32 amp fuses and lets us connect to the battery. Alrighty, so we have our mains leads and our battery leads connected in. So let's show you guys what we've got here. So on the main side of it, we've got our 2 new chargers, lives each connected to their own phase. Got the neutrals command, earths command, and the original charger, the 513 here, has its own live, neutral and earth connections. I've also gone ahead and changed the pilot circuit to reflect the correct values for the IEC 61851 pilot signal charger switch on off thing. So I've got the right resistor values and diodes and all that in here now, because the 1k resistor and so on was fine for switching a home charging point, but we need to be able to use public charging now, so we have to reflect the correct values. So on the battery side then, we've got all of our battery cables, 3 positives and 3 negatives connected to the fuse block. So I'm going to go ahead and do a check of the wiring before we button this thing up. So I'm waiting for some aluminium box section to turn up. Naturally, yesterday being Friday, the courier didn't come with it, so I've been assured I will have it delivered this morning. So that probably means we're not going to get it today. So I'll have to just rig something up just so we can run the chargers. So right, I'm going to go ahead, just voltage check the cables and so on here, get this part of it buttoned up, and we'll be back then when we're actually running some of the chargers. I'm going to have to take the car for a drive. I've got to go into town anyway to do a few things. So that'll take some juice out of the battery and we can start playing with chargers. Stay with us. Alrighty, so we have our 2 chargers bolted in on these 25-25 aluminium bars. Put them into the frame of the car with some M8 riv nuts, so everything's in there solidly. I haven't bothered tidying up the wiring as yet, just until we power up. So we're going to be going for 6.6 kilowatts now, which will be the NLG 513 inside the white box and the red NLG 514. So that's about all the power I can give it at the minute, but in order to test this charger, we'll simply swap the leads between the 2 of them. So let's go ahead and fire this up and see if we get, should be seeing about, I suppose, 15-16 amps going into the battery. I got a mains power meter here, it doesn't seem to be working too well, so I'm going to just have to figure that out. Alrighty, well, as you can probably hear, we got some charging going on. Red charger's on, and charger down here in the box is on. This one's not, because we don't have power to that. And if we go into the car, This is our amp hours. So I drove the car this morning, counting down. We have 17 amps going into the battery at 370 odd volts. Now I'm going to have to mess around with the voltage settings because this isn't reading exactly correct. So I'm going to have to play with the calibration. But just to test, yeah, she's working, guys. We've got some 6 kilowatt charging going on. Alrighty, so I swapped over the mains leads. So we have this charger and the one in the box powered up now. This one has lights on it, this one does not. But we're charging. Again, we're putting 17 amps into the battery. And if this power meter is working, there we go. There's about 350 watts of load on the place without the car at the minute, but we're at 7, so we're at about 7.3 kilowatts total. So that's a fair bit of load. So that's those chargers working basically. I'll need a 3-phase supply to run them all up. So we will go into the town and we will plug into a 3-phase charging point. Alrighty folks, so we're here at a local charging point which should have 3-phase power. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in the car and we'll see if we get all three chargers on. And if we start charging at about 25-26 amps. Stay with us. There it is, guys. 27 amps. 370 volts. Amp hours counting back. Cool. Alright. We're on here on the charging point. Right, it's charging. All 3 of my chargers are powered up. Charger in here. This one's on. This one's on. We can see the lights. And our little 12-volt charger will be on as well. We'll stay here for a few minutes and let it charge. But it works. Woohoo! The energy meter on the back here is telling us anything. Oh, there we go. It's flicking away. That'll be putting in the kilowatt hours now, alright. Alright, so we're a few minutes in. No problems so far. No excessive heating anywhere. We have dropped down to 26 amps, probably just as some of the chargers are starting to limit as the voltage comes up. We're at about 376 volts now. Yeah, amp hours are going down. It's working, guys. So that means that we have the ability to, I suppose what they call it is rapid AC charging now. So that's about it. I'll sign off there. I'm just going to hang around a bit, get some more juice in, and we'll be tuning the chargers and stuff like that back home, just setting up the voltages and so on. But just for a bulk charge here to test it out, it seems to be working away great. So we will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. Happy charging.